Hello all. In this video, we'll see how to create a count-based catalog. Open Specimen supports creating multiple catalog. It could be either private or public catalog. Private catalog is for the Open Specimen logged in users, and the public catalog will be accessible to anyone who has a catalog URL. Count-based catalog displays the count of specimens along with its respective data so that any researchers can filter out the specimens for their research and add a certain number of specimens in the cart. They can also request for specific alicors of those samples by putting the request of those specimens. Now let's see who can create a catalog. Anyone who has access to the catalog resource as a create, they can create a catalog. Under the roles, you can see there is a resource called as catalog here. So if you have a create access, that person can create a catalog. Along with that, institute admin and super admin also can create a catalog. Now let's start with the creation of the catalog. So I have logged in as a super admin over here. Let's navigate to the catalog card. So on this page, you can see there is a create option. There are already multiple catalogs created on this demo site. Okay. So when I hit the create button, there are a couple of fields that you can see. Some are mandatory fields, some are non-mandatory fields. We'll go one by one from each. So title of the catalog is the display, the title of the, it's nothing but a display of the catalog. It will be seen on the catalog result overview page. Okay. I'll be putting a specimen count based catalog. Okay. Description will be the description of the catalog. It is also displayed on the catalog result view page. So this is the count catalog used for breast cancer study, breast cancer research. Okay. So this is title and description. Next is the display. As you can see, the display option has 4 checkboxes: dashboard, catalog, review cart, and request form. You can check, uncheck, and based on that, configure the access to users of this catalog. For example, if you deselect the dashboard option, your catalog will not show a dashboard on the result view page. Similarly, if you just want to show a dashboard, you can just deselect rest of the options. As you can see, the moment I check, uncheck these options, the fields on this page changes based on the requirement of the access. So you can keep either just catalog and request form if you just want to show the specimens in your inventory. If you want to give all of the access to the researchers to put a request and see a dashboard, see a catalog, then you can keep all of the options as checked. In this video, we'll keep all of them checked to show you what view exactly researchers will see. So that's about the display. Catalog display query. So search query will be the query which will be used to display the specimens on the catalog result view. So when you click on this, you can see there are a couple of list of queries you can see here. These queries are already created under the queries tab. So here, let me select the specimen count based catalog query. Okay. Now let's navigate to the query module and I'll show you how the query looks like. So under the queries, specimen. Okay, so this is the query. So if you could see this query, in this I have added couple of filters and configured certain columns. So in this you can see I have added participant gender, specimen type, and some required conditions like the distribution event ID should not exist, or the available quantity of the sample should not be 0, so that distribution of the specimens will not cause any issues after request. And you can parameterize these conditions so that you will get options to select from a option list. So I'll show you how it looks like. So under the view records, So here if you could see under the gender, if I click, there are multiple options: female, male, transgender. Based on selecting this filter, I can filter out this data and show the specimens on this page. So now here if you could see, there are fields called gender, vital status, and this is the specimen count. Here you are able to see. Now to configure this, what you'll need to do is you'll need to configure columns. Under the actions, you have a columns option over here. In this, you can select whatever columns you wish to see in the catalog result view. And once you are ready with this, you can click on, I'll just explain this. So here if you will see, under participant, I just want to show gender and vital status. Under specimens, I want to show type, anatomic site, and rest of the details. So once you are ready with your fields, you can go to the next option. Here you can rename these fields. So I won't be renaming them as of now. So let's go to the next. Now on this page, to show the count of the specimens rather than each specimen as a single row, you'll need to get a count of those. So if you could see here, specimen label, I have checked the option of aggregate function of a count. It will make sure that the specimens are clubbed together based on the filters and based on the data, and they're shown as a count rather than just a single specimen. So once you are ready with this count, you can rename it if the field you want to. I have renamed it as a specimen count. Now it's ready. I'll just click on done. Okay. Now the result view is ready. So this is how it looks. Now let's go back. So I have selected the search query over here. Okay. Once we start seeing the catalog result view, I'll explain you how it looks, or what are the different actions you can perform, or what are the different fields on this page as well. Next up is the configuring default columns. Now, if you could see in this query, there are multiple fields, and you'll need to scroll right and left to see all the fields. Also, adding lots of field on the catalog result view, it clutters the view of the researchers. So to avoid that, a user can do is they can configure a certain number of fields on this page as a default fields, and then later on researchers can add any field if they want, and they can change their view as per requirement. So as of now, I'll be adding gender, type, specimen count. Specimen count is necessary. Unless until you add that, you won't be able to see what number of specimens are on there. Okay. And last up is a vital status. I'll add a couple of these default columns. Okay. Ensure that search query do not include a specimen identifier. Okay. Because if you add a specimen identifier, the count will not be displayed. Item details query is a query used for internal purpose. This query creates a CSV file which contains the fields and the specimens that researcher has requested. The CSV file is sent via email to request manager and logged in researchers. This query also used to display a view for a request manager. Okay. As of now, let me just select item details query. Okay. So ensure this query has a specimen identifier, because if this query does not have a specimen identifier, the distribution will not occur smoothly, and system will throw an error. The specimen identifier is missing and you cannot distribute the specimens ahead. So that was about the item details query. Next up is the request form. In the request form, this will be the form that researchers will be filling in while submitting the request. It can be configured via the forms tab. So here under the forms card, I have already created the form that I'll require. So I have named it as a request form. So let me just open the request form. And if you could see under this form, there are multiple fields like project title, description, shipping instructions. So you can add any field or remove any field based on the requirement, and then use the same form under the request form option. Okay, let me just add this. So this is how the request form can be added. On the result view, we'll show how the request form looks like later on. Request manager. A request manager will be the person who will be approving, rejecting, or add or remove specimens from a researcher's request. This will be the user who will have access to the specimens as well, who will be distributing the specimens further. So you can add request manager based on that access. So I'll be adding the request manager here. Okay. Again, this user can be configured via users tab. Okay. This is how you add a request manager. Before going to the public versus private, there are a couple of more fields I would like to show. Show items is the field where you can configure you wish to see specimens after selecting filters or just by clicking the catalog URL. So if you keep it as when filters are selected, when you hit the catalog URL, you will not be see the specimens directly on the catalog result view page. But when you select the filters, you will be able to see the specimens. Whereas if you keep it on load, whenever you hit the catalog URL, the specimens will be displayed on the catalog result view. So now requires login. So this is where the public versus private catalog comes into the picture. So requires login defines whether it's a public catalog or whether it's a private catalog. So if it's marked as yes, it's a private catalog. Only open specimen users can access this. And if you mark it as no, then anyone who has access to this catalog URL or catalog, they can access this. So if you see, if I select a yes, there is a field called as user group gets activated. This is nothing but a user group which is created under the users tab, and one group can contain multiple users. If the user group is configured for any catalog, then only those users will have this access to the catalog. Or any even logged in researcher or any user who is already a open specimen user will not be able to access this catalog unless and until they are part of the certain user group which is configured over here. As of now, we'll keep it as a public catalog. Last two field as show app buttons and help URL. Show app buttons will show you the sign up option on the catalog overview page. You can keep it as yes if you want to see, or if you don't want to clutter the page, you can mark it as no. Help URL, you can provide the wiki page, local wiki page details or share points, which will guide the researchers how to use this catalog, how to submit, or any other details you want to share about the catalog. You can add that over here. So once you are ready with all these details, you can create a catalog. Okay, just hit on the create and the catalog will get created. I have already created a catalog, which is specimen count based catalog. You can see the title, display, rest of the details that I showed you here. Those are available on this overview page. Now you can see, let me just close this. Okay. So now once you are ready with the catalog, you can see there is a catalog URL which gets generated. If you want to share, the catalog URL with anyone, you can just select the complete. Let me just back it. Okay, so you can just select this whole URL and use the Control C option from the keyboard to copy it. Please do not use a click option of using mouse. So use the Control C from the keyboard and you can just share it with any researchers. If you want to navigate via this page, you can do that as well. You can see view catalog option over here. Once you hit this view catalog, you will be navigated to the result view. So we saw the public versus private catalog. Now let's see how the result view looks like. Okay. So this is how the dashboard will look. Let it load. So as I mentioned, I selected all the options on the display. So the dashboard is available over here. These are the dashboards which are already configured on the dashboard here. Okay. You can drag and drop and add and delete these dashboards based on the requirement. You can see the help button is again displayed over here because I configured the help URL under the overview page. Okay. Now to navigate to the catalog, just click on the view catalog. Okay. Now you can see the specimens are already shown here. The count is visible. The fields are visible. This is because the show items is marked as on load. Now let me just show you a couple of more fields on this page before we wrap up the video. So on this page, there is a feature called as columns. So if you can see, there is a columns. Again, you can see only 5 columns on this page. Now researchers want to see more details about this catalog. If they want to add a vital status, diagnosis, or biohazards, I can just select these fields and click on the done. And the moment I click on the done, the fields get added to the view. You can see there's a vital status, diagnosis, and at the end here is the biohazard. Okay. This feature is again love. These fields are again configurable using the search query that I showed you. You can just add whatever fields you want to see in that search query and select the fields from here. If you want to select any specimen, you can just click on the row, or else you can select it via using a checkbox. So once you select the sample, again, before adding it to the cart, you can see there is a help button over here. By just clicking on this, I'll navigate to the URL that I have configured in the catalog overview page. So I'll just add it to the cart quickly, and let me go to the cart. This is the review cart option. Here you can mention if you want any specific sample or a specific number of volume. I won't be adding it as of now, and I'll just navigate to the submit request. So if you can see, this is the same form that I showed you in the request form, which contains the same fields, project titles, specimen shipping instructions, and this is how the request form looks like. Now researchers can fill in this form and just submit the request, and the submitted request will be seen under the view request card. So this is how the request form looks like. Okay. Last up, we'll see the request. Okay. Now, I have already put couple of requests that you can see via view request tab over here. A request manager can see all the requests put by researchers, by any researcher. And if you are a logged in researcher, then you can see your own request and you can edit even the request form. So you can see there are a couple of approved requests, there are closed requests, there are pending requests. So I'll just click on this approved request. Let's see. On this you can see you can close or you can edit the request. For the count based catalog, you see two tabs, that is cart and the specimen. Cart will be showing you the samples that a researcher has requested. You can see they have requested for 4 ADC samples and 1 cDNA sample. And specimens will be the tab where you will be adding those specimens to distribute it further. For example, I have already approved this. I just can go over here and let me see, I want to add this ADC sample. I'll just click on add. The specimen gets added to the request, and here you can see those specimens are visible. Now if you want to distribute all at one go, you can use the distribute all option. If you want to distribute a specific sample, you can just check the boxes over here, like select these sample and distribute them. So this is how the catalog requests are seen.